6 weeks on Friday. That Friday at 2:30 is not the best time to teach class. But anyway, we were in a sort of rectangle, and the students were responding to me for the first time, and we went out to see their boss. And they told me some things. And I got back in the classroom, and I was going around, and I said, I know what you know. I do know what you know. I know everything you told me that you know, but I want to know, how do you feel? So I went around the table. How do you feel? And you know what? At the end of that 6 weeks, the kids had to write me a note. You know how teachers are. They make you write notes. And every one of them told me, best compliment I ever had. 15 kids wrote the same thing. We loved you because you're so silly. Well, and that was because they said all you wanted to know was, how did I feel? And we had about 20 E's. Let me hear you say feel with 15 E's in it. Feel. You can do it better than that this time. Feel. So this poem is about feeling, and most poems are. That's why we read and write poems. Okay, this poem is called Down Cellar. Now, I'm in a reading class, and I love good reading. How many of you like to be in a performance on stage? Yeah, there's a guy who's telling the truth. Telling the truth. Of course you like to be on stage. And I'm going to put you on stage before we leave. And we're going to read this poem as if we were reading it for the Library of Congress. My goodness.
Would you like me to do that?
You help get everybody one. I want to hear you say the word bitter. Oh, I heard the T's. You know, when you're careless, what you say, don't you? Bitter. Let me hear bitter one more time. It was beautiful.
Bitter.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, how many of you know what a real cellar is? Where do you go when there's a bad storm? Have you got one? You go to, yeah, you go to the basement, don't you? You go to the cellar. And something is talking in this poem. And what is talking is a cricket. Have you ever heard a cricket talk?
No.
Yeah, some have and some haven't. How many of you have ever heard a cricket sing? Have you ever caught a cricket and put it in a jar? I just learned 2 weeks ago what makes that music. We call it music, don't we? You know what the cricket's doing? A little science never hurts. The cricket is on its knees when it's making this music. It's scraping the dirt off its legs. Scraping the dirt off its legs. But to us, it sounds like music. Isn't that remarkable? Okay, back to this cricket. This cricket has this to say. I'm going to say it the way I sort of want to hear it back. Down cellar, said the cricket. Down cellar, said the cricket. Down cellar, said the cricket. We had a ball last night. Y'all had a ball recently. Go dancing. Wasn't there a dance here a few weeks back?
There was.
Well, if
Father,
you
daughter.
wanted to dance, you had a ball. Okay.
Father, daughter.
Okay, you understand the cricket is saying that there's been a ball. And, well, now why are we having this celebration? In honor of a lady. In honor of a lady. In honor of a lady whose hair was silvery white. The breath of bitter weather. The breath of bitter weather. The breath of bitter weather had broke the window pane. We entertained a drift of leaves. We entertained a drift of leaves. We entertained a drift of leaves and then of snow and rain. Now that is what the cricket is telling us about being down in the cellar. I believe there was a cricket in the song. I believe that cricket is telling me the truth. Now, would you look at your first stanza there? Notice it doesn't rhyme. Does it have rhythm? Does it sound pleasing? Yes, it does. So, you want to ask a question?
No.
Oh, well, you
Wait,
can
how
anytime
did-
you want to.
Mary, I used to thought that they would just put their legs like this.
I'm so glad you've seen that. I want to tell you about learning that. My husband is something of a scientist, and I once lived in Japan, and the children there in October catch crickets and put them in special baskets and free them after about 3 days. But I had watched those crickets and I had not learned that. Do you know what the poet laureate, what that word means, poet laureate? They are the top of the poets wherever. Georgia has a poet laureate. The United States has one. And in the 1st of March issue of the New Yorker magazine, she had written about a cricket. Her name is Rita Dove. Well, she's the one who taught me that letting the cricket tell the story, that all the cricket was doing was scraping the mud off his legs. So I look down at my shoes and say, could I make music if I clean my shoes? I might try it sometime. Okay, let's read that first stanza. Down with me, read with me. Down cellar, said the cricket. Down cellar, said the cricket. Down cellar, said the cricket. We had a ball last night. Do you notice the commas there? Why do you think the commas are there? They want us to stop a little bit. And I know you're learning about punctuation. And that is so, it just makes it going sometimes. Let's try that again. Down cellar, said the cricket. Down cellar, said the cricket. Down cellar, said the cricket. We had a ball last night. Read the next one. In honor of a lady. In honor of a lady. In honor of a lady whose hair was silvery white. What did we do? What had happened? What kind of weather are we having? We're having one of those North Georgia tornadoes, aren't we? Notice that this poet has given the wind a breath. Wind is no longer wind, it's breath. And it's the breath of winter. The breath, read it with me. The breath of bitter weather. The breath of bitter weather. The breath of bitter weather had broke the window pane. You know what the action is. Well, now what is Cricket and Company going to do? The wind must be howling through that broken window pane. Wonder who he kicked the soccer ball up yonder upstairs or something. Well, were they going to let that ruin the fall? No, you're right on to that. What did we do? We entertained a drift of leaves. We can drift with those leaves in that line. We entertained a drift of leaves. We entertained a drift of leaves. We entertained a drift of leaves. And then of snow. And rain. Let it rain. You know what? When it starts raining, it's the tornado is almost over. Rain, when the rain comes, the storm is breaking. And that always makes me feel good to look out and see the rain is coming, because some of that violent force is being released. I like your voices. They are wonderful. Now, in a little few minutes, you're going to arrange yourself as if you are on a stage. And you're going to decide where you want to stand. You might even want to decide that you would like the boys to read one line by themselves, or the girls. It's your class. It's mine too. You know what? I feel very together. I am so glad to be with you. Okay. Let's just read it in our seats for now, from beginning to end. And remember, when you come to drift, use some motion. Let it drift. And let that snow fall. And let that rain spray you like you know what. Okay? We'll begin with the title. Everyone say the two words. Down cellar. Now. Down cellar, said the cricket. Down cellar, said the cricket. Down cellar, said the cricket. We had a ball last night. In honor of a lady. In honor of a lady. In honor of a lady whose hair was silvery white. We entertained of the breath of bitter weather. The breath of bitter weather. The breath of bitter weather had broke the window pane. We entertained a drift of leaves. We entertained a drift of leaves. We entertained a drift of leaves. And then snow and rain. Okay, now I have some goodies here. And Miss Addie.
Yes.
You're going to be the lady. You're going to give her some silvery hair when that line comes. Okay, just throw it on her. She won't mind. Are you ready? With the title, Down Cellar. Down cellar, said the cricket. Down cellar, said the cricket. Down cellar,